How can we call the meeting to order with the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, good evening and welcome to the regular meeting, the April regular meeting of the Greencastle School Board. First item on the agenda tonight is adjustments to the agenda, Mr. Gibbons.
Yeah, so this item is just a correction under K, where it says first reading 2021 summer programs. That's actually an approval request for 2021 summer programs. So that'll be an action item.
Okay, can I get a motion to approve the adjustment?
So moved.
I'll second.
You have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Next item on the agenda is public comments regarding agenda items. Are there any public comments this evening? Okay, hearing none. Next item on the agenda is recognitions. Mr. Gibbon.
Yep, so Mrs. Johnson couldn't be with us tonight because she's ill, so we'll be honoring RIDPATHs, an extra RIDPATH student of the month in May. So that being said, Mr. McHugh.
It's my pleasure to introduce you to second grader Dalton Hughes and his teacher, Mrs. Weeks. Dalton is our student of the month. Mrs. Weeks had commented that Dalton makes every day at school fun, and he's come such a long way from the time when he first started at Deer Meadow. He exemplifies our star cheer, which is safety matters, try your best, accept responsibility, and respect others. Dalton cares for adults and students. He's a hard worker, he's very funny, and he's just a friend to all. And in Mrs. Weeks' best comment is, he makes every day at school a wonderful day. So congratulations to our Deer Meadow Student of the Month, Dalton Hughes.
Hello. So TZ is proud to nominate Emily Weddle for our Student of the Month. Emily is a third grader in Mr. Hopper's classroom. And Mr. Hopper wrote this: Emily Weddle has shown an impressive amount of growth during this school year. During the month of March, she displayed great perseverance in class on her schoolwork. Throughout the year, she has shown excellent growth academically as well as socially and emotionally. I am very proud to have chosen Emily as the Student of the Month for March for Tezonicus.
Good evening. Greencastle's Middle School's Student of the Month is Liz Kavanaugh, and Mr. Shirk shared that she's always honest, works well with others, self-motivated to do the right thing, and always does her best. Mr. Hammett says she is a hard worker and has a great work ethic. Mrs. Brianna shared that she's very thoughtful and artistic. Mrs. Nicklash said she's a great leader and very kind, and Mrs. Smith said she's very creative, a hard worker, and friendly with everyone. We are very honored to have Liz, our Student of the Month.
The high school would like to recognize Brandon Hyde. Our March month was Perseverance. He was nominated by Mrs. Standards. And she said that his perseverance this year has been outstanding. He has never really cared about his grades or school too much until this year. This year, though, is different. Brandon has made up all of his credits and is on track to graduate. He now wants to get A's and B's in his classes and is not satisfied with the lower grades. Brandon gets his work turned in early and even tells his classmates to work harder. He is so much fun to teach. I will truly miss him next year after he graduates. Brandon Hyde.
Turn it loose. Want to turn it loose?
Okay, thank you to our students a month. It's also a school night. You're more than welcome to stay, but we understand if you need to get your little ones home.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is the approval of the consent agenda, which consists of the meeting minutes of the regular board meeting of March 15th, 2021, and the special board meeting of April 8th, 2021. The allowance of claims and financial report and personnel reports, part 1 and 2, which are on the website and on the door at central office. So we'll hear from Mrs. Romer about the allowance of claims and financial report.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Okay, first in your finance packet, you're going to see the payrolls for the month of March. The first payroll that you're going to see is dated March 1st, 2021. That was a mini payroll. We've had someone that we needed to catch up from a February payroll. So we did a little mini payroll on March 1st. That total payroll was $316.20. Along with that payroll came the payroll taxes for that employee for a total of $61.17. The first regular payroll for the month of March was dated March 12th, 2021, for a total payroll of $448,408.09. Along with that payroll came the accounts payable, again for payroll taxes and retirement. You'll see a total accounts payable for the 3/12/21 payroll, $124,086.66. Second regular payroll in March was dated March 26, 2021, total payroll of $427,561.58. Along with that payroll came the accounts payable for payroll taxes and retirement, total accounts payable for March 26, 2021 payroll, $119,425.27. Did anyone have questions about payrolls for March? Okay, we'll go ahead and move on. You'll see next in your packet a list of prepays for the month of March, dated March 1 through March 31st, 2021. Nothing unusual on this list, and of course, the biggest prepay expense was for health insurance. You'll see that there. For a total prepay for March 2021, $326,326.80. Did anyone have any questions about the prepays? Okay, we'll go ahead and move on then to our regular claims dated today, April 26th, 2021. I will go ahead and ask if there's any questions from anyone about a particular claim this month. Nothing highly unusual, pretty much just the regular. We had a couple of renewals for software and things like that, but nothing really unusual. Okay, if there's not any questions, we'll go ahead. The total on the claims dated today, April 26, 2021, The total is $266,257.15. Ready to go ahead and move on to the financial report? Okay. Next in your package, you're going to find a fund report for ending balances March 31st, 2021. Ending balance in Education Fund 101, $826,763.69. Ending balance in Operations Fund 300. Ending balance $792,829.14. And ending balance in Rainy Day, the end of March 2021, $1,815,922.28. Account balance for all funds at the end of March 2021, you'll see on the last page, page 5. Ending balance for all accounts, $5,004,082.35. Lastly, in your package, you'll see a depository statement and bank balance for the end of March 2021. Balance in Bank 2, $3,654,555.85. Bank 6, $522,103.42. Bank 9, balance $300,138.36. And in Bank 10, ending balance March 2021, $537,236.87. You'll see less outstanding checks. Bank 10, $9,738.59. And Bank 2, outstanding checks of $213.56. Total for all banks minus the less outstanding checks, you'll see at the very bottom, March 2021 fund balance, $5,004,082.35. If you'd like to match that against the ending balance of the fund report, you'll see that those balance to the penny.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I'll make a motion to be approved. Okay, we have a motion to approve the consent agenda. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Okay, hearing none, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Next item on the agenda is reports. And first is the Assistant Superintendent report. Dr. French.
Hi, good evening. So I have a couple of things that I'd like to update you on, and they're very exciting. We have some big things happening. So the first thing I wanted to mention was Edge 21, and I thought Mr. Hunter was going to try to be here tonight, but I don't think he could make it. So just to summarize Edge 21, it's a program developed by Linda and Vic Hunter, where they create a community partnership with all of the schools in Putnam County. And so what they do is they identify and train individuals to act as mentors, and they pair those mentors with 21st century scholars that are in our middle school and high school. And so they work with the counselor and the administrators to be able to do that. So these mentors then meet weekly with a small group of these students. And really the goal is just to keep them on track and get them to that opportunity where they're actually utilizing that scholarship and going to college. And so that's been a really great program that we've been able to take advantage of. So if you have any questions about that, or I can connect you with Vic, but that's been a really strong program for our community and for our county. I also wanted to mention our K-5 after-school program that's coming up this fall. I just posted the job positions. We're hiring around 8 to 10 people. So if you would help get the word out so we can get the right people hired in those positions and get some planning going. So we're still trying to fill those positions. Something else new for the fall, the Tiger Pawcast. So we're going to start producing an in-house podcast, and really just to get out like the word to the community of what's going on in the school. Just another way to communicate, to highlight our different programs, because we have so many cool things happening. And so that's our first one is set to release in the end of July, right before school starts, so we can kind of get to all the back to school information out, change in protocols, cool stuff happening, and basically market our program. So we're excited about that. And a shout out to Jennifer Finnerty, who came up with a clever name, Pawcast. And then I would like to, I'm going to turn it over to our counseling team who is here tonight to fill you in on some details that we're going to implement a Second Steps curriculum, which is a social emotional curriculum. I know our counselors have been working on this for the last 3 years at least to try to get a K through 8 program aligned. So we're going to be implementing that this fall. So to give you more information about that, I'm going to turn it over to these ladies.
Okay, great, thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
So this is a dumb question, but can you see?
They have a handout.
Okay, perfect.
Copy of it. Yep, all
I was
right.
trying to figure that part out. All right, so we're going to talk to you guys a little bit about the Second Step curriculum. So this is just a couple screenshots. If you could go to slide 2, please. So these are some of the benefits of social emotional learning. Academically, students that partake in SEL programs have significantly improved social and emotional skills, attitudes, behavior, as well as an 11% gain in academic performance. So it's not just that emotional piece that you see as a benefit. For workforce impact, students with higher social competence scores are more likely to earn a high school diploma and more likely to hold a full-time job at age 25. In addition, as far as community impact, there are some of the known benefits of the interventions studied, one of them being the Second Step program, includes reductions in child aggression, substance abuse, delinquency, and violence, lower levels of depression and anxiety, which is incredibly important, I think, this year, and increased grades, attendance, and performance in core academic subjects. Next, please.
So to give you a little background on why we chose Second Step, last spring we took advantage of the time when we were e-learning to research a lot of the different programs that are out there. We met with some counselors who are using Second Step in Avon Schools, Crawfordsville, and then Tess, who used it at her previous district. So we kind of got some background information on the benefits, what they saw in their student population. So some of the key factors that we saw in selecting Second Step was that it meets all the criteria that we need for Tier 1 for the MTSS and the DOE's social emotional learning competencies. The consistent language and the vertical articulation of skills, so the lessons build upon each other, preschool through 8th grade. So we thought that that was really important. That way the schools that are feeding into, especially with the primary level, feeding into TZ to where they all come together, they have that same language and skills for them. The curriculum, it's school-wide, and it's low to no prep. So we know with everybody being incredibly busy, we didn't want to add one more thing to teachers' plates for them to do. So having something that was fully scripted, it's research-based and evidence-based, and it's ready for them to go right out the gate. So we're hoping that this will be something that's proactive to help us, reach some of those kids that that need that positive impact on their behavior and the mental health needs that we're seeing in our schools. Next.
Okay, so the scope and sequence is pretty consistent throughout. We're going to buy the program pre-K all the way through 8th grade. Can you hear me? Oh, okay. So you're going to see a lot of similar skills. There are 4 units for each grade level curriculum. At the beginning in the elementaries, you're talking about growth mindset and how to control your feelings, because we know that our elementary kids' feelings get so big, right? And when I'm really worried at school, I can't focus on my math. So I'm thinking about how I can bring that down. And there's a lot of neuroscience in the elementary component, which I think is really cool. We're getting them excited to learn about their brains. We're also talking about problem solving, and that's really important at the elementary school level. You'll see in your handouts the problem solving steps, the STEP method. We're saying the problem, we're thinking of solutions, we're not blaming anyone, but we're exploring consequences and we're picking what's best for us. We learn that at the elementary level, and then as we transition to the 6th and the 7th and the 8th grade level, we're starting to ask, if this happens, what happens next? Which is really important for those impulsive preteens. We're like, oh, if I get in a fight today, nothing's gonna happen. Well, if you get in a fight today, you're gonna get behind on homework, there might be probation involved, there's just all sorts of dominoes that could come. So it's really exciting to see the common language and how the skills are gonna build pre-K to 8.
Next. School-to-home connection. Research has shown, as we all know, that when school and parents work together, our kids are more successful. And so this will allow for parents to know exactly what we're teaching, what unit we're teaching, so they can talk to them at home so that they know that we're together as a team to make the child successful. Also, 6 through 8, I'm not sure about you, but I know as a middle school parent in the past, they're difficult sometimes to talk to, right? And so I like that they have the resource and online experience, and they have parent experts to help if there's a hot topic that you need to talk about and you're not sure how to talk to them. So that's available as well. So the homeschool connection. Next.
I'm Jamie and I'm at TZ, and I wanted to let you all know that a couple years ago I became interested in this curriculum. We all went to a conference down in Bloomington and they had a Second Step representative there, and I went to her booth a lot of times. I asked her a lot about her curriculum and her binder, and she finally just said, I think I bugged her enough. She was like, would you like to have the 4th grade binder? And it was a $400 gift, and I said, absolutely, yes. So I've had it for a year, and I wanted to pilot and make sure that I wanted to pilot this program and make sure that it was something that would be engaging for our students, that was right for our students, that was doable for our teachers. We, like Megan said, they have a lot on their plates. And so I have been piloting. I'm passionate enough about this program. I believe in it so much that being given that gift, I bought the 5th grade binder as well myself, because I wanted to try it out in not just 1 grade level, but 2, to make sure that this really would fit at my school with my students. So once a week on Mondays since the beginning of October, I have been going to 2 classrooms, Mrs. Mitchell's 5th grade class and Mrs. Lakin's 4th grade classroom. And we have gone through, I'm on lesson 19 next week, there are 22. And so I teach the lesson on Monday. I give the teacher a following through card, and she is able to do like 5-minute follow-up activities, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. There's quick, but it reinforces the material that I teach and keeps it fresh in the students' minds. I have really been pleased with how our students have responded. The next slide should have come up. Okay, so I don't know if you all can see the quote from Mrs. Mitchell. Is it big enough on your, can you see
Yeah,
it?
we can see it.
Okay, so Mrs. Mitchell gave some thoughts about this, and then I also wanted you to hear from one of my students. You probably can't see him from back there, but this is Charlie Knuth. He is one of my 4th grade students, and I interviewed him in my office a couple weeks ago, just so you could hear straight from the horse's mouth what he thinks of it. So if we could go ahead and play that video, Corey.
Charlie, your classroom is one of 2 classes in TZ that's able to have the lessons. Do you think that all students at TZ should get to have the 7 step next year?
In my opinion, I think that everybody should have a second step, because then everybody knows how to problem solve or calm down and take time to think. And even though people don't know something even if they don't know, but they can have a better skill to know.
Great. Is there anything else you want to tell me about your second step lesson?
Like, for the calm down event, Mrs. Mary gave me a slip that it was more than a brochure that had a calm it down printed on it, and it shows me all the steps how to calm down when I have bad moments.
So he's a student, and he's given me, and his parents have given me permission to share. He feels anxious before tests at school, and so I gave him what he's talking about is the calming down steps, and he has a little thing taped to his computer on his desk, and it helps him before I learn and the weekly reading tests that make him feel nervous. So thank you for listening. Thank you to our administrators for really trusting us to choose this curriculum, and we thank you and appreciate your time.
Thank you, ladies. It was great. Keep moving our way. Okay. Thank you again, Dr. French and counselors. Next would be our report from superintendent.
Yep, so we just finished up kindergarten roundup last week at both Ridpath and Deer Meadow, but if there's anybody left that still wants to register for kindergarten for next year, we'll certainly take them. I'd like to thank everybody that helped put on a successful prom this past weekend. When we began the year, we weren't sure it was going to be a certainty. They're continuing to work towards graduation to be held in McAnally at the end of the school year, and I know Mr. Rogers and Mrs. Goodpastor are working on getting that approved and sharing out the details of that as well. We received notification that we'll be receiving some additional stimulus dollars from the federal government, and so we're having talks with our buildings and with teachers on how best to spend those dollars to support our kids, support our classrooms. One item of which will be to purchase the Second Steps curriculum. And those are all the items I have for this month. I do plan to share a financial update with the board next month as well.
Okay, thank you. Next item on the agenda is old business, and there is no old business, which brings us to new business. And the first item is an approval request for the 2021-22 school year contracted services, which consists of the Indiana School for the Blind and Low Vision Services contract, the school psychologist contract with the Stepping Stones Group, and the speech language pathologist services contract with Shelby Slack, which I believe we can approve all these in one.
Correct.
Approval.
Yep, it's my recommendation that the board approve these contracted services positions for next school year.
I move to accept them.
Second. Okay, a motion and a second. Any discussion, questions? Okay, hearing none, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Next item is an approval request for a VALIC 403B plan amendment.
Yep.
Mr. Gibney.
So this is an additional retirement option for our employees. It doesn't take away any benefits from any of our employee groups. It only adds, and it adds a Roth IRA, a 403B option, and in order to have that added to our plan document, the board needs to adopt the amendment.
Okay.
I wouldn't see any reason not to do it. So.
No.
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 I make a motion that we add it.
Second.
Yeah, a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. I think that's a good plan.
Yeah, it gives them another bucket to invest in.
Sure, sure. Okay, next item is an approval request for permission to hire summer bus cleaners.
Yep, so as is customary at the end of the year, in order to get the buses prepped for state inspection and ready for the next school year, Mr. Clearwaters is requesting some additional help to help with that on a part-time basis, and it's my recommendation that the board approve that.
I make a motion to approve that.
I'll second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to approve summer bus cleaners. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Next is the approval request for the second reading of the 2021-22 building handbooks.
Yep, so the board received the building handbooks for first reading last month, and it's actually a second reading and adoption this month, and it's my recommendation at this time the board approve our handbooks for next school year.
I make the motion we accept.
Second. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Next item on the agenda is an approval request for the second reading of some updated job descriptions.
Yep, so continuing on with our plan to update each job description within the district. You received these last month for first reading, and now we are approving them for special education services and instructional assistants.
16 pages in the one description. I'd say it's pretty thorough.
No, that they're stapled together.
Right, great.
I'd like a motion to be approved.
A second.
Okay, have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. The next item on the agenda is an approval request to rename the new transportation center to the Dan Green Transportation Center. Dan was longtime transportation director, then operations director, maintenance director for Greencastle Schools, who sadly passed away last summer. We've been asked by a few community members, and we thought this was a good idea to make this change in honor of Dan. So, in honor of Dan, I would like to make that a motion.
I'd like to second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Mr. Kibbeney, do you have anything to say?
Yep, so I've been in communication with Brenda, and we're working on finding a sunny day to get out there for a picture, and we'll organize that as soon as we can. The weather wasn't cooperative last week with the snow and everything else, but definitely like to obviously just remember and recognize Mr. Green.
Indeed. So we have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Comments? Okay, hearing none, all in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion passes. Next item on the agenda is an approval request for the Kramer Company Services Agreement.
Yep, so as we move forward with the $32 million building project and renovations, have an agreement from Kramer Companies to serve as owner rep and help advise the board and the school district in decisions and making sure that services provided by agencies are rendered appropriate, and that everything is built according to plan documents and specifications. So it's my recommendation to approve the agreement with Kramer Companies.
I think it's smart to have somebody looking out for us. I'll make a motion to accept. I will second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion or questions? Okay, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Next item on the agenda is an approval request for the KRM AIA document.
Yeah, so
Gibbeney.
Yeah, so KRM is the architect group that we're working with for the building project, and they're the group that conducted our facility assessment. In your packet is actually a modified agreement with additions and deletions report after suggestions from our school district attorney, Lewis and Kappas. And it's my recommendation that the board approve the AIA architect agreement with KRM.
And is that pending the changes?
That's pending, pending the changes, and those changes have been highlighted in your packet.
Okay.
And I think you said, but our lawyers have looked at it and.
Correct, yep.
Great.
Good enough. Can I get a motion to approve? So moved.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Next item on the agenda is an approval request for the Fab Lab Institute. Mr. Gibney.
Yeah, so with the launch of our digital fabrication lab at the middle school next fall, and through working with the consultant group, they actually put on a Fab Lab Institute in Chattanooga, Tennessee this summer, and so I'm just seeking permission for a group of staff members to travel to Chattanooga for the 3-day training. We will be paying for the training and the lodging through grant dollars.
Okay.
Jeff, how many are you talking about as far as
We're
numbers?
we're probably taking anywhere between 6 and 8. Yeah, we're taking a core team from the middle school and administrators, so because they can see a lab that's already been set up and in operation, so they can begin to kind of truly understand what's coming to our middle school, and that'll help them plan for the fall, and it'll actually happen alongside the training that they received this summer too.
Sure, thank you. Makes sense to go look.
It helps when they can see an example of what the pros and cons are.
Yes.
Make a motion that we approve. I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Further discussion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Next is an approval request for a lot of donations. One from the Mary Allison Children's Trust, Designicus Intermediate, in the amount of $1,000. From the Mary Allison Children's Trust, a 21st Century Community Learning Center, in the amount of $1,500. The Mary Allison Children's Trust to the Greencastle Middle School, $250 to Paige Paquin for birthday bags, $1,000 to Misty Weeks for life skills class, $200 to Amy Robinson for art supplies, $1,146.04 for a sensory room, $305.25 to Jessica Briones for body positivity, $204.10 to Jessica Briones for the Tiger Ticket Store. Then we have a donation from Indiana Safety Company Incorporated to Greencastle Community Schools. They must have given some personal protective equipment. From Jack and Shirley Dalton Trust to the Greencastle High School, or to Greencastle High School, in the amount of $1,000. And a donation from Putnam County Community Foundation from Bootsy Unichim USA COVID Relief Fund to Greencastle High School in the amount of $7,500. So, usually we don't have to discuss this much. Can I get a motion to approve these donations?
I make a motion to approve. All right. And I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second.
I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes, it's always the best part of the agenda. A double thank you. Okay, can I have or all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Thank you to everyone on that list. Next on the agenda is an approval request for the 2021 summer programs at the high school, middle school, elementary school level, and speech services. Mr. Gibney.
Yep, so this is our, these are our summer school programs, and it's my recommendation that the board approve us moving forward with these programs so we can get the good word out and get our students involved in these programs.
Now, are these programs at a little bit different time than normal?
Yeah, so our high school is more of a traditional summer school type program, whereas with elementary and middle school, just with COVID and just the weight of the year, we chose to delay our summer programs until prior to the start of the school year, because we felt like staff and students and parents just needed a break.
Sounds like a good plan. I make a motion to approve.
I second. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Next item on the agenda is the first reading of some more updated job descriptions. One from central office staff, I'm assuming. Two from the technology department and the transportation department. And those are all in our packet.
Yep, just take a look at those and we'll bring those back for second reading and adoption next month.
Okay.
We give you a little hard time about them, but we asked you to make sure everybody knows what everybody's supposed to be doing when we hired you in, and thank you for doing that.
You're welcome. It's a work in progress and we're gonna get there eventually.
Looking forward to seeing yours. Oh. Okay, so no action required there. Next item on the agenda is other business. Does anyone have any other business?
Just like to recognize Mr. Hunter, Vic Hunter, who helped with Edge 21 and the program that you heard from Dr. French. So I just wanted to recognize him.
Good.
Thank you.
I guess we don't need to hash it out, but I think it's important. Polly Shuey is retiring after being with us for a very long time, and this last year she had a lot more on her plate, so I just want to say thank you to her and all her work.
Yes, we have big shoes to fill. Surprised to see that. Anyone else? Okay, next item on the agenda is adjournment. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. So thank you all for coming.
everybody.
Be careful on your way home, and we'll see you next month. Thank you.